I came to settle in the UK in 2004 with my 3 children because I was alone and my husband was in prison at this time. I found easier for me to bring up my children in UK rather than in France, where it was quite difficult for Muslims. I heard about his arrest through the radio. We had no news about him. He was away for 3 months and a half. We had absolutely no news. My children were 9, 6, and 3. It was a great shock for me. It was really different. We were alone in a foreign country. I had absolutely nothing, nowhere to live. We had absolutely no stability for all this time. We were feeling really like strangers. The fact that I had no contact with him. The last time I saw my husband was 2001. The next time I was able to communicate was through a letter in 2002, and I was only able to see him in 2003, around March. A few letters, but we know that all the letters were read, by the people in the prison to check what was said. So it was not easy to communicate freely. I couldn't say what I want, and then we went through the difficult time of going to the visit in the prison. So the children were allowed to see him, but I was not. My sister-in-law, she did everything. She took them every 2 weeks to see their dad. And we did like that until I was eventually able to see him and to be able to communicate with him and to go with the children by my own. The environment was really not friendly. And I was quite aggressive with people because I was always feeling that I need to defend myself and my children. We had no benefit, nothing. I had to build a new life again with my children. And then when I came here, we made the decision to come and live in the UK. It became a little bit more difficult. If we wanted to keep the relation between our family, me and my children and my husband in France, we had to go back in France quite often for the visit. I was not working, and we had to organize the travels at least 3 times a year to go and visit my husband, and this was very expensive. I faced a lot of challenges. They wanted me to work without my hijab, and it was not possible for me. So I had to go to meetings with people that they were really not friendly, trying to force me to take my veil off and to accept any kind of work. The most important was my children and my family and their stability. And I was not understood at all, even by my family. It was really difficult because I felt completely isolated in the way I was living, the way I was thinking. If I remember, about every 3 months, I had meeting and trying to push me. So I was always under stress. We were under big stress because we had nothing. How I cope, alhamdulillah, we are Muslimin, our faith is in Allah, and I try to, we found our force in our strength in the prayer. The impact on my children, they always, stay silent. They were really patient, but they developed a kind of isolation themselves. We never talked really about the problem. It's like it was something we should not talk about. And they grew like that. I didn't want to open a subject that I wouldn't have all the answer they wanted. So we never really talked about that. But we were just being patient and trying to keep in contact with my husband with the letters and the travels, and always keep positive. But they kept everything in them. And in their relation, it was a little bit strange because personally I was scared about people, so I made them scared about people as well. So our relations were really restricted. They kept a lot of things for them, but they didn't share with me. I think it was not always easy for them, really not easy. There were a time where we were really paranoid, and we were scared to to give our name, so that maybe people are going to know who we are, and they can be, you know, aggressive with us because they would have read something in the newspaper. So all this contribute to this kind of life very isolated. And in some cases, we had the journalist in front of our doors and knocking at our doors, waiting for us outside the houses. We had to be very careful, you know, looking through the window, see if they were not sitting there in the park in front of us, of our house. And we were scared, really scared about the consequences that it could have for my children at school, for me at work. It was really difficult, yeah. I used to go regularly to visit my husband, who was in prison in France, and the cost of the travel was quite difficult. It was quite expensive. A sister told me about hugs, and she told me maybe they will be able to help you. And it was a very long time ago, and Hugs was not the big organization. So I contacted a sister at this time, and then she came to meet us, and it was wonderful, because at this point I really understood that we had someone to talk to, we had someone to support us at the end, to be really by our sides. They've started to support us with the travel expenses, and then they supported us with the school expenses. We were living in such isolation, and they helped me toward that. Alhamdulillah, wallahi, alhamdulillah. The emotional part, always contacting us, asking about us, send us the key worker, asking about situation of our husband, of my husband, of my children, and for Eid, always sending presents for the children. They're always here, always here. They support us with also with the vouchers to do shopping, through the winter campaigns, supporting if we need help for some bills, if we can't pay the bills. They are still here, always phoning. If I ever need any help, emotional, or for the solicitors, or problem with the media, or anything, I know that I can phone them, and I will have someone helping me. I think about how helpful they are to brotherhood, you know, the community, the fact that I have help from my brothers and sisters, and they are efficient. They are generous. You never feel alone when you know that Hugs is there. You never feel alone. I know my children, even if we were, you know, when Eid is coming, for instance, we are sad. Usually we are sad. We try to be happy, but in reality, we are not really happy. But sometimes I don't want to go and buy presents, and I don't want to do all that. And then there's a parcel coming, and they bring joy in at home, and that's much more than that I can do. Sometimes it's I know they're here, and they give this feeling to my children. So I'm really thankful. I think people should why they should support us, Hugs. You know, I think there are many things that people would like to do, but they can't. maybe they don't have the time to do it, they don't know how to do it, they don't know how to organize things, and Hugs is there doing the job. All they need is money. They are efficient, they have a stronger organization now. You can't do anything with the on, you know, I mean, you can't do anything physically, but if you give the money, they will do the job for you. It will be your part, a lot of hasanat for you. You give money, they will do a fantastic job with many people that you don't even know. It's very, very important to give to, so they can carry on this this important action.